Happy Wednesday, Broncos country. We're Let's Talk Broncos. I'm Bree Maestas here with Zach Seegers and Joey Richards. Guys, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm looking forward to having like a little bit off of work. I'm still gonna be doing my football thing, of course, but like my other job, I'm looking forward to this Thanksgiving day off deal, spend time with the family, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm having a good day. Zach, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm having a great time. Great to start the weekend early. Happy Thanksgiving to all the LTB people. Glad to have you as part of our little LTB family. It's a great show. Thankful for the two of you. Stumbled across you guys. It's crazy. This really isn't a show. Joey and Bree and I are all like great friends off screen, and this is the beat we all like kind of grew up loving. It's rare that you get to work with your closest friends on a passion project and have success. And all of you listeners, I know you just want to listen to football talk, but all you listeners are enabling that dream and making it possible. And if you can put yourselves in our shoes, I'm sure you can imagine how grateful we are. So thank you all. Very thankful for my lovely co-hosts here. And yeah, Thanksgiving spirit. Let's go.
LTB gang.
I freaking love that. I'm thankful for the both of you, and I'm thankful for this show. I'm thankful for Mile High Sports. And Joey, I want you to do what you're thankful for as well. But I want to pose that to anyone listening. If you want to jump on in, we won't be all three of us won't be live tomorrow, Thursday, for Thanksgiving. But Joey and Frankie will be having a show drop tomorrow, so you want to tune in for that. You won't miss your Let's Talk Broncos for Turkey Day. But I'm really thankful for all of you and everything that I've been able to experience on this crazy journey called life. Joey, how about you?
Sorry, my mom's calling me.
Put her on the show.
I'm thankful for my mom, for sure. Right on cue. She definitely had to remind me of that. She's probably listening to the podcast or something right now. No, but I am. I'm really thankful for my, I would say I'm most thankful for my support system, because I know a lot of people don't have that. I have really good friends. I have really good family that allow me to go chase like dreams like this. And I don't think that's possible for a lot of people. Like, you get so many no's and you can't do it and stuff like that. Whereas everyone around me tells me that I can, which gives me the energy to go and do stuff like this. So I'm thankful for all of them.
Absolutely love it. If you're watching over on Twitter and you want to participate with the show, please go ahead and jump on over to Mile High Sports YouTube or the Facebook stream. You can join in live. Zach Seegers is doing so right now, commenting away. If you do that, we'll go ahead and highlight your question or comment. If it's appropriate, I'll be the judge of that. We'd love to have you join the show as we talk some Broncos this Wednesday. I think someone's vacuuming. All right. If you can hear it, I apologize. Let's get into it, though, and start off this episode, because we have some fun things to talk about. We wanted to rank some things within Broncos country. And, you guys get to join in, too. Tell us where your rankings are for uniforms, modern orange, modern navy, the 70-90 throwback editions, or the mustard and brown. How do you guys feel about those?
Zach, I'll let you go first on this one, and I'll take the next one or something.
I'm going 1970 to 1990 first. I think everyone loves it. I think the Bronco logo with the D is like an icon, like one of the best sports logos ever. It's so great. It's just like classic. It's bold. It's not too busy. It's really beautiful. I think the colors are really great. The uniform design, I think, is a little lacking. It's a little bland. The modern versions, where they're adding in some shoulder stripes and whatnot, I think are a little nicer, but just a good color combo. Like Joey shows up rocking the retro Elway throwback at tailgates and stuff, and it is like noticeably the nicest jersey in the venue. And like, they've got jerseys going up there for silent auctions and everything, and the one he's wearing is nicer than all of them. So that's my number one. I'm going modern orange then. Oh man, I don't know. I do think navy looks better with the current uniform set. Navy just is pretty boring to me. I hope they move away from navy. Then modern orange. You could take orange over navy. I'd have a hard time pushing back on it. I think they're both fine looks. And then the mustard. The mustard's pretty dang bad. It's almost so bad it's good. I enjoyed it when it showed up in 2010. I wouldn't mind if they wore it like one game every 10 years. It's kind of like fun ugly, like some of those Packer uniforms or the Steeler Bumblebee uniforms. But I don't know. I kind of love how ugly it is, but it'd be my last.
Yeah. Okay. I'm right, like lockstep with Zach here. The 1970 to the 1990 is by far the best. If you disagree, go debate a brick wall. Like it's that simple and obvious. Like, what are you talking about? The 1970 to 1990, that you got the colors are a little different, right? They're a little more light. You got lighter colors going on, which is cool. Just in general, I mean that's like really cool. That color combo is the best one. The throwback Denver Broncos D is fantastic. The best logo also in Broncos history. So that's clearly number one. And I think that is going to be unanimous for everybody. The navy blue is my second. I do not like the color orange in football. That is a take I have. Oh, but I like it as like a complementary color. I hate it as a primary color. Mostly because I can't rock that outside. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? The navy is a little better. Now, over all of those, I prefer the white jersey. That's just me personally. I like the white one, the away uniform. And then, of course, the mustard is the last. I do think there's a little fun to it where it's like these are really, really ugly. So it's fun to wear sometime. But other than that, like, no, if we had to rock that for all the games, it would be atrocious and definitely the worst uniform in the NFL. That is my ranking. I will go 1970 to 1990. Navy blue. Orange, mustard. That is how I will do it. Bree, how about you?
I don't know. It's orange first for me at all times. I think they should wear orange on orange more often. I wish they would go brighter. I wish their alternative jersey was much like the Seahawks highlighter jersey. I want it to be annoying and I want it to be bright and vibrant because orange should be the primary color. When you see a sea of orange, it stands out a lot better than navy. Navy is overused. It's overblown. It's not that interesting. And it honestly doesn't really like invoke a lot of passion. It's orange and blue for a reason. I would say the 70 to 90 throwback is very nostalgic, but I honestly don't think it's where the Broncos should head going forward. I know that's not the question. So I'll have to go 70, 90 is pretty decent, but I'm going to go modern orange because I want to go against the trend that's happening here on the show. Then I will go 70 to 90 throwbacks. Then I will go navy because I do not like the navy. I don't think that, and I wear all black all the time. So that's saying something to y'all. And then the mustard because, like the yellow and brown is honestly vile. And seeing that combination, even with the socks, with the stripes, and then, swirling it around does not save it whatsoever. I think it's pretty darn awful. Coop says, I was watching the mustard brown 2009 Pats game last night. Josh McDaniels wearing a hoodie with the sleeves pulled up. Yuck. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, that was the one where he was really like losing his mind on the sideline, like showboating a little too much about beating Belichick. Like that was an embarrassing way to win, honestly.
That was.
No, it was. That's fair. I get it. But
Bree, I do have to say, out of all the takes you've had here on this Let's Talk Broncos platform, the modern orange being number one is by far the worst.
You want my next one? That's
I don't mind it that much.
I can't stand it. I hate it. Like we need to either go lighter colors, lighter shades. That
you want a pastel orange uniform?
Zach, you were saying
Dolphins uniforms are cool, no?
Not
you
pastel
like
orange, I like the pastel blue.
No, because the jersey mock-ups for the retro, the new ones, the new hybrids that people were throwing out there, I freaking hate them. I don't think they're that good.
They're so good. They're so good. You're crazy.
They're like pale and
okay, we could go down the list of pastel colors. The Chargers uniforms, sick. The UCLA uniforms, sick. Every single time I see the pastel, more lighter colors of version, it makes it like 20 times better.
He's right. It's got to be orange. I agree with Samuel Castro there, but that's why it's 70 to 90. Get in the comments telling us which is your favorite.
I don't want a sun-kissed orange or orange crush colored tangerine light. Like neon is not the vibe. It should be, or neon is the vibe. It shouldn't be pastels. Like it needs to be bright.
Neon was the vibe back when people were wearing like Nike Elite socks and like stuff. We are way past that now.
It's funny to say that with all the neon on the screen.
Well,
that's
no,
the brand.
I mean, neon on black is cool. Neon, just neon colors. Like, no, we're not here for that. We're not here for this. This is not a white background. We're going like it's a dark night and this neon light is shining through. These neon jerseys are
Stop.
just absurd.
Stop it.
Neon. We're just
We're
like
the
standing
Dark
on a
Knight
green
of
field
Broncos
looking
podcast.
stupid type deal. The Seahawks uniforms, I hate them. Yeah, that's my take.
I like really ugly, offensive, annoying, bright, like
Annoying is
just
right.
I really love that it disturbs people, and I think that's why that I like them so much. Like if you were gonna throw on like a hot pink, like I don't know, like jacket, like I think that is the great accessory. It's why I wear my bright I have pink and the chartreuse shoes because I wear all black. I just love the pop of color, and that's why I think neon is the way to go. I am not a fan of it, but we will move on. And we'll go to ranking these pass catchers: Emmanuel Sanders, Demarius Thomas, Brandon Marshall, Rod Smith, Shannon Sharp. This is a tough one. I don't envy who's going to go first.
I'll go first. My number one will go to.
Oh, I know where he's going.
There's too much bias. There's a little bias involved in this, but this is my favorite player of all time. I am going with Demarius Thomas, number one. Everyone can kill me if you want. I understand it. Like I'm biased here, but DT is my favorite player of all time. No other explanation needed. I will then go to Shannon Sharp, Rod Smith as 3. Although Rod Smith's numbers are insane, most touchdowns ever as a Bronco. Shannon Sharp is just like, I mean, when you talk about tight ends and like revolutionizing the position, Shannon Sharp did so much for it. And then we will go Brandon Marshall. I think he is forgotten about as truly being an elite wide receiver when he played, and a guy that made it happen not just as a Bronco, but everywhere he went. When he went to Miami, he was really good. When he went to Chicago, he was really good. Where else did he go? When he went to the Jets, he was really good. He went everywhere he went. Brandon Marshall, the play. I really respected his passion for the game too. Like, he always got knocked for that, being too emotional, and he might have been too emotional sometimes. But when you talk about a passionate player that wanted to win, Brandon Marshall stands out. And then I'll go Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders was terrific. He always played bigger than he was. I loved his play style. He was Broncos country's favorite for so long. And yeah, I respect Emmanuel Sanders a lot, but there's so many good players on this list. That's the way I would go with it.
Yeah, I'm going okay, number one, I'm going DT. Or no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm going Shannon Sharp, number one. Hall of Famer, deserves to be a Hall of Famer, helped revolutionize the tight end position. If we're ranking these pass catchers, I think he's number one. Number two, I am going to go with DT over Rod Smith. He does fall short in, I think, a lot of the career long stats, but he's like 20 yards ahead of Rod Smith in terms of receiving yards per game. And that's not nothing. He just didn't play as long. And that's a tragic situation, of course, as we all know. But I think he reached higher heights than Rod Smith. Like, there's a reason Rod Smith is getting no Hall of Fame buzz. And then there was a time in the NFL where Demarius Thomas was making the same amount as AJ Green and Julio Jones, who were all pros, and Dez Bryant. And it wasn't ridiculous. Like, he was in an elite era of receivers, and he wasn't at that all pro Hall of Fame level, but he was right on the outside of that range. I think Rod Smith was a little further out. And I think the argument for Rod Smith is a longevity based one, which I'm totally here to hear, but I wasn't around to enjoy a lot of that longevity. So I'm going to go DT2. And then I'm kind of ranking these guys off peak. I'm going to be honest. I'm not ranking them based off career long stats. That's why I have Rod Smith as low as I do. And that's why he's not number 3 either. I'm going Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall, I think, was helped make me fall in love with football. One of the all-time greatest run after the catch receivers in NFL history. I will point to one of my favorite national analysts, Greg Rosenthal, who just this week ranked him as the 4th best yards after catch receiver since 2000. who obviously no Broncos bias or anything involved there. And he said it was even better before he had all the surgeries that kind of limited him. He wasn't that guy necessarily when he got to the Jets. But early in his Broncos career, like I remember that Cowboys game. I remember that run against the Cowboys the rest of my life. He was a monster.
Or the game against the Colts broke the record.
Like that. Like he could just take over a game, I think, in a way Rod Smith couldn't quite. All these players are great. All these players are great.
You know who he was, Zach?
Smith 4, Sanders 5.
Okay, there you go. That's a good list.
Who was he? Sorry. I just wanted to finish before you.
You're good. Brandon Marshall, like think of like if you're like newer to the sport, I guess, or if you don't have as fond memories of Brandon Marshall, he reminds me of like a lot better version. And I'm saying this because I think he's tremendous at the catch point and stuff like that. And I think he's better than the player I'm about to say. Right. But if he reminds me a lot of like
Northwest,
I'm thinking like he was a lot like that day and age. He was a ton like, so he was like baby T.O. in a lot of ways. Terrell Owens.
Oh, I thought you were going for a recent comp.
No, and then he was that, and then I'll go to a recent one. He was a lot better version of AJ Brown.
That's what I was thinking. He reminds me of AJ Brown, a little DK in there, just like a monster. Built different.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to have a continuation of thoughts. I didn't unmute myself. Sorry about that. I have a question for you guys. Which of that grouping would you want playing on this current iteration of the Broncos?
The Broncos could really use. The Broncos could really use the deep threat, I think, that Demaryius Thomas was. I think the field stretching, the winning from the outside, Russell Wilson has shown he's not a very great thrower over the middle. Whereas DT could really work over the middle. I think his field stretching ability was fantastic. Not just he could beat you straight line speed. He's the fastest out of all these guys by far. And then he could also win at the catch point and be physical because he was a huge receiver as well. That combination, you saw it with DK Metcalf, right? What Russ was able to do down there with a big physical freak wide receiver that could beat you deep, but also win at the catch point. DT brings a lot of that, as well as, of course, the yards after the catch. I think those two things would really, really, really benefit this Broncos team.
I'm going DT. Did you say which one or like which group?
Which one?
Oh, I thought she asked group. I'm gonna go. That's tough. Yeah, it's between Thomas or Marshall.
Russ has also played with Marshall as well, just so everyone knows.
True. I might go Marshall. I feel like he's a true X, and that might be what this team really needs right now, just like a reliable way to get yards, like prime Broncos Marshall, the guy who can go up and get you 21 catches in a single game and just take over like that. I wonder if DT in like the modern NFL is like a big slot. I honestly think he might have been a player that came too soon. That might have been a better role for him, all said and done. But nonetheless, I feel like I feel better about the state of my slot receiver on the current Denver Broncos than I do the X receiver. So I'll go Marshall.
Love the answers, guys. I went Smith, Sharp, Thomas, Marshall, Sanders, which was eerily close to Mundungus Creevy from MHRT, the 5280 podcast. He went Smith, Sharp, Thomas, Sanders, Marshall. I don't have anything against any of the players on this list, and that's why I thought it was going to be tremendously tough to rank them. Just think from long-standing records and notoriety with the Denver Broncos organization made a huge impact on the reason that I ranked them the way that I did. I had a lot of trouble with Marshall v. Sanders because I didn't know which one was going to be fourth and fifth. That one was a tough decision. I don't feel great about it, and I think I chose the exact opposite on another show of ours. Christopher Hart chimes in, Thomas, Marshall, Smith, Sharp, Sanders.
I like it.
Sorry, I was muted. Identical to me outside of the huge disagreement on Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, that's a fall. That's a fall.
Yeah. Otherwise, like I've got Sharp 1, he's got it 4, but otherwise same ordering across the board. Or same ordering on the other 4.
Now we're going to get to a really spicy one. Someone's moving chairs over here now. That is the holidays. We're all getting ready to celebrate. Let's go with ranking these head coaches. Nathaniel Hackett, Vic Fangio, Vance Joseph, and of course, Josh McDaniels. Who wants to go first?
Okay. I think number one is clear as day.
I honestly agree.
I really do. I think number one is clear as day here. I really do. And that's Vic Fangio. I think out of these coaches, it's not even close. I think Vic Fangio is like just 100% the best coach on this list. After that, it gets sticky, right? Boom, boom, boom. I'll go Vance Joseph second. I think a lot of his issues came with him being inexperienced, right? I think he brought good things to the Broncos, like his ability to relate to players. I thought was really good. Players always liked him. He always looked lost and confused out there, but but I think a lot of inexperience. He wasn't ready to be a head coach yet. Then I would go Hackett because he hasn't ruined the Broncos completely, I don't think. Whereas McDaniels was like, we're trading away our quarterback, and I have personal vendettas against these guys, and I think I can do it on my own. I'm more valuable than any one player on the team. And there was no really he wasn't a very humble guy at all. He thought he could take a bunch of random guys out there, it felt like this at least, and win games with them. So I would go him last. So to recap that, I would go Fangio, space, Vance Joseph, Nathaniel Hackett, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like I know Joseph and Fangio really well and Hackett because I've covered those three. McDaniels, obviously, I'm going off my childhood, but I was on the Broncos beat for all three of those coaches. Vic Fangio, comfortably number one, because he brought something. One, the winning percentage of these coaches is the top two are Vic Fangio and Josh McDaniels. They had the most success in their 2 seasons as Broncos head coach. So that's a point to Vic Fangio. They're both at 0.375. Point Fangio there. He avoided the elevator collapse that just the floor dropping out that you saw. It was in 5th grade. Yeah, that's about right.
Hilarious.
The chats were taking shots at me. Goodness, Fangio by wide margin. He brought something to the table. He brought the good defense, and I think his personality did great on the locker room and did eventually lead to a collapse, but not as bad as the collapse we saw with McDaniels and not as bad as the collapse we saw with Joseph. So I don't think you can knock Fangio more than you could knock those two guys for that. So he's number one. Number two, I'm going, ooh, that's so tough. Man. McDaniels is 4 for me. I know that. He blew things up, the ego stuff Joey highlighted, the way the floor completely dropped out the moment he got caught cheating. With cheating, he's 2 and what is it? Or he's 3 and something all time as a Broncos head coach. He's 3 and 17. That's an atrocious winning percentage. Oh man, I think I'd go Hackett over Joseph because Hackett hired Ejiro Evero and Joseph didn't do anything that good. So I'm going to go Fangio, Hackett, Joseph, McDaniels, but I don't feel confident about the middle ranking.
Yeah, I don't feel confident ranking these guys at all because I have feelings. I hate that Fangio has to be sort of number one, but then it's what do you weight over the other thing? Hackett's really not. I don't know if he has enough to be worse than McDaniels at this point, but we don't know. So right now I have it looking at my ranking right now. I went Fangio, Joseph, Hackett, McDaniels. And I think I have to stick with that, but I think Hackett could be above Joseph right now. And I think that's actually where I'd want that to be because I think that
I don't know how I differ.
I get it.
But Joseph was so good with the players. He just sucked.
Hackett's good with the play. I think Hackett's better with the players than Joseph because Joseph, there would be multiple stretches of games where it was oh, they're not even trying. Like they don't even. I have to say, like under Fangio, I have not seen the Broncos flatter than I saw them under Vance Joseph. Like they'd have good weeks too, but they'd have weeks where it was just like they did
what
not show up to
outweighs
play.
that? A lot of the team was giving up on Fangio, so it's
But
like
not to the. But that's what I'm saying. Like not to the same level as they were giving up. At least, like all this is subjective, but those 4 or 5 game stretches with Joseph, I think the Fangio teams were putting up more fight last season. As much as I criticized the defense for maybe giving up on him down the stretch, and that's why I had faith in Evero coming into this season. I think Joseph was even a little great.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting points, everybody. I just
Vic Fangio
I
was
would
responsible
think
for Shermer.
if you said Joseph is better than, or Hackett is better than Joseph in that respect, but I will say that I don't think Joseph had players kind of like running all over him like Hackett does.
That's another fair point.
I like the way, like, whether it be Melvin Gordon, you hear him and Melvin Gordon have a conversation next week. Melvin Gordon is your lead back, whether it be McManus taking a really long field goal at the end, whether it be Russell Wilson running his offense and not what Hackett wanted to run. Like, these are all 3 things that we've heard. And it's like, I don't know who's better with players.
Both are rough, and that's fair. I think that's a wash. I didn't go with Hackett there just because he was better with player, because I don't know on that point. You could go either way. For me, it's the Evero hire. That's what the deciding thing is, because I think that is a fat W. I can't take that, and I know it's just because he's friends with Evero, but hey, good job picking friends, man. Like that's a slam dunk. That might be the best move any of these coaches on this list ever made. Another point I think that supports Fangio's case is the number one. I think he was the best developer of young talent, rookies, and everything on this list. It's not a complete coincidence that Elway's drafts got a lot better and Peyton's first draft was a lot better than his second. Like, I know some of it's capital too and everything. There are absolutely other factors, but Fangio's ability to develop that young talent was one. Despite the faulty Drew Lock narratives that will get thrown out by.
Goodness, strays. But it leads me into my next category. This is going to get fun. Rank these quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, and Trevor Siemian.
Zach, take it away, bro. We're going every other one. I timed it like this for a reason.
Like it. History. I'm trying to pull up something so I can easily access all of it, because I was okay. So Teddy Bridgewater, I'm looking at it. Teddy's number one. I think in any way you want to measure play at the quarterback position, Teddy's number one. It's not all stats and everything, but I just like, to me, I think in my head it was between Teddy and Case, and looking at the numbers, it was just like Teddy was better across the board. I think people are a little colored in how they judge Teddy Bridgewater because of the quarterback battle. I think everyone, or not everyone, I think a lot of people were in the Drew Lock corner and got maybe a little tied up in the Civil War that occurred in Denver last year. And as a result, we're maybe a little unfairly harsh on Teddy. I think it's something that is continuing to happen with Jerry Jeudy. But Teddy's the best of the bunch. I think in any way you want to measure quarterback play, he outperformed Case Keenum in terms of completion percentage, touchdown rate, touchdown to interception ratio, interception rate, first down rate, yards per attempt, air yards per attempt. Hey, you know how everyone's frustrated about Teddy Bridgewater not being aggressive enough? Well, guess what? He was more aggressive than Case Keenum. He was more aggressive than Trevor Siemian too in terms of air yards per attempt. So and he was more productive in every other way. So why are you exactly rating Siemian or Case Keenum above Teddy Bridgewater? I'd be really curious to hear why that is. Teddy's one. Who else is in there? Goodness, I'm just stalling for time. Teddy's one. Keenum two.
Siemian
three. Wilson four. Lock five. I want to put Wilson 4, and I would have until the last show we had that turnover discussion. When we originally came up with this topic idea, I had Wilson 5, but I don't. That one's really tough. That's the one I have the hardest time with.
Did Keenum had really bad injury or turnover issues as well, if I remember correctly?
I'll look at that really quick relative to these guys.
Okay. So the way I would do it, I would go Teddy Bridgewater number 1. I think he was the most consistent quarterback out of all of these. I think he gave you the best chance to win. When I look at the team out of all of these, which was the best, was the Trevor Siemian year, right? That was the best team. That defense was still somewhat intact. It was coming off a Super Bowl year. It was a solid team around Trevor Siemian. I think that if you put Teddy Bridgewater in his place, you still have a good deal of success. Like the Broncos obviously missed the playoffs that year, but as a team, they really weren't that bad. So I'm going to go Teddy Bridgewater number 1. I'm going to go with Trevor Siemian number 2. I would, because of that winning record and stuff like that. Like he helped the Broncos win some games. He was better than I thought he would be, and I think most people thought he would be when he won that starting job over Paxton Lynch. And I think he's better than these other guys on the list. So I have Teddy Bridgewater, Trevor Siemian. I will go Russell Wilson 3, Case Keenum 4, and Drew Lock 5. That is the way I will list them.
Do I have to go?
I can buy you some time, Bree, with some quick stats to answer Joey's question.
Go ahead, because I'm.
So lowest interception rate, drum roll, Teddy Bridgewater. Wow, who saw that coming? Who saw Teddy as being the best? I did. Oh, I did. I did see that coming. 1.6%. Russell Wilson in second at 1.7. Case Keenum in third at 2.6. Drew Lock in fourth at 2.8%. Trevor Siemian in fifth just by a hair at 2.9% during his time in Denver.
Wow.
Over his career, he's dropped to 2.6, but during his time in Denver, 2.9.
Interesting. Okay, I'm sticking with my list. I'm going
other
to
stats.
What was that?
I was going to throw out other stats to buy Bree some time, but go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my list. I'm going Teddy Bridgewater, Trevor Siemian, Russell Wilson, Case Keenum, Drew Lock. That's my list, guys. Take it or leave it. I kind of hold a little bit against Case Keenum, and it's unfair. But I remember when everyone was blaming DT for that missed throw that he had in the back of the end zone on the sideline. I think it was the right side, if I remember correctly. That play sticks out to me so much because I went and argued with my friends about that forever, and with just Broncos fans in general. So yeah, I hold him responsible a little for that, and he's dropping rapidly because of it.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, how dare you guys leave Paxton Lynch off this list? People are saying we're bashing Russ. I really don't think so. When you look at what he's producing relative to these other guys, I think it's the sad reality of the situation. But yeah, I don't know. I never saw these guys miss wide open options like this. We left Paxton Lynch off because he was in obvious last place. I think the Case Keenum point is fair. That's one of the most painful missed shots. But no other Broncos quarterback during this span has come that close to beating the Chiefs. So I give Keenum a good deal of credit for that. Keenum has the second highest passer rating out of the bunch behind Teddy, and I think the most passing yards per game out of the bunch. He's my
I really wish Brock Lobster was on this list. It just hurts my feelings. You know who I'm glad is not, though, is Joe Flacco. So thank you for that.
Flacco, best quarterback on the New York
God. Can I address this real quick? I'm not even trying to kill time anymore. Are we talking about just this year for us? Or are we talking about the previous 10 Hall of Fame years?
Broncos
there is no actual guarantee that Russell Wilson would make the Hall of Fame. I just need to throw that out there. That is a generalization.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'll pull up his Hall of Fame monitor.
But I will say, to his point, his like the previous 10 years were a lot better than this one. I'm speaking strictly off this year.
Broncos careers.
Broncos so far.
We're judging.
And Russ could improve on this. We might do something like this again next year, and he might be number one on this. Who knows?
And like, how can you not? I guess I'm looking at you, my man. How can you not look at what Geno Smith was everywhere else and what he is in Seattle and what Russ was in Seattle and what Russ looks like in Denver and not wonder if a healthy bit of that was Pete Carroll? Like, it certainly looks like it. Russell Wilson's been a really bad quarterback this year. I stand by Mark Sessler of the QB Index and Greg Rosenthal, the former writer of the QB Index, who are watching every quarterback snap, every week, every game this season, and have been saying that Russell Wilson's playing like a bottom 5 quarterback. I don't think you, listener, or I have done that extensive research on every quarterback in the NFL. So I'm going to defer to them, and they're saying Russell Wilson's playing like a bottom 5 quarterback. And hell, the eye test looks like it. He's missing open plays all over the field. He's blowing up plays by holding onto the ball too long or not being able to identify simple blitzes. He is playing like he's making mistakes that like Drew Lock was past. And Drew Lock made plenty of mental mistakes. Like, it's embarrassing. Are a bad pairing. Like, is Hackett telling him not to? He responds, completely agree. Wilson and Hackett are a bad pairing. I think the only way you can blame Hackett for this is if he's saying, Russ, don't identify the blitz. Russ, when you see Cortland Sutton wide open 25 yards down the field, don't throw it to him.
To his point, though, it is a bad pairing.
It is.
I think you can get more out of Wilson.
Totally. It's a bad pairing too, but the reason I think Wilson belongs to be 4th or 5th on this list, I think has very little to do with Hackett. I think he could be maximized better by a different head coach, but there is, even with Hackett being a horrible butcher and a horrible chef, there's tons of meat on that bone for Russ to eat. Maybe not tons. There's a healthy amount of meat on that bone for Russ to eat, and yet it's the worst offense in Denver Bronco history. There's more plays to be made than the worst offense in Denver Broncos history.
Bree, are you ready with your list?
Yeah, go, Bree.
Shut up. Bridgewater, Simeon, Locke, Wilson, Keenum. And the only reason Wilson's not last is because I'm afraid of being pitchforked.
Wait. Can you say it again but slower?
Nope. We have a
Bridgewater, Wilson, Locke. Bridgewater,
No.
Keenum, Locke, Wilson, Simeon.
Bridgewater, Simeon, Locke, Wilson, Keenum.
Okay.
But Wilson honestly could have been my 5th because I really don't think Keenum really did anything else. Because as you pointed out, I think both this offense would look better with either Locke or Keenum in at quarterback right now. So that makes me sad, and I don't know what to say. You're looking at a sample size here that doesn't look very good. 10 games, they're 3-7. It's not all on the coach. A lot of it is on the quarterback, and although the quarterback is slowly getting better, he doesn't have that many games to go ahead and get himself back on board. Russ is playing behind an awful O-line and seeing ghosts. I think the scheme is a bad fit for Russ. Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers struggled their first years in this offense. Coaching means a lot.
Yeah. Who designed the scheme again? Let's ask George Payton. Let's ask Russell Wilson. Let's ask Justin Allen. Let's ask
this is what he wants to run.
Who designed this scheme? Oh, Russell Wilson did. It's everything, to quote Nathaniel Hackett, to quote everyone I just listed, and it's everyone you would trust in regard to the architecture of this offense. They have said this offense is everything Russ wants to do. We took everything from Seattle he wanted and nothing he didn't. We brought everything from Green Bay he wanted and nothing he didn't. This offense is Russ's construction. Don't say Hackett didn't build him for it. Hackett, like Russell Wilson asked for a custom offense, and it was this. All the concerns with or frustrations with offensive architecture should be directed at Russell Wilson. Listen to every Seahawks offensive player talking about how excited they are. They finally get to run Shane Waldron's entire offense, that they finally get to run plays under center, that they finally get to hand the ball off in 3rd and short situations, things that have plagued the Broncos offense this year. Weird that they weren't doing it in the past with the same offensive play caller, and now the Seahawks players are so excited to do it this year. What was the big change with the Seahawks offense that might have led to this? I wonder what it could have been.
I have a question. Now, how many coaches, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. How many other coaches are letting Russ do that through this point through the season, where we're seeing terrible, yes, to your point, worst offense in Broncos history. You're talking about a coach with his job on the line that refuses to put his foot on the ground to the point where we have to have Clint Kubiak take over. Like, I don't think we're seeing damn near almost like a lot. Like, the majority of coaches aren't allowing this to happen.
I disagree. Most are, with Hackett's background, most established coaches wouldn't. I agree. Most coaches with Nathaniel Hackett's background who have been paired with Russell Wilson, have no mistake, everybody. Russell Wilson is maybe the most powerful person in the Broncos facility. He has an office just like Nathaniel Hackett. How many starting quarterbacks have an office in their team facility? This is a weird situation, and he has an undue amount of power as a result of sorry, Frankie's cats, you got a deal. It's like, I agree at this point in the season when it's like the writing's on the wall, dude, you have to save your job. I think you'd have other coaches putting their foot down. Most first-year head coaches thrown into this one-sided of a power dispute, I think would go the way of Nathaniel Hackett.
I don't have anything to add to that because I didn't like it. So that was really good.
Sorry, what did I do?
You didn't do anything wrong.
He's tired of the conversation. It made me laugh. he's like, damn, I'm over the bad quarterback talk. Like she doesn't want to get into this one. I respect.
I do want to throw one. I wanted to say one more thing on Mundungus's comment about the awful offensive line. Like, bad. It's hard for me to not blame. Like, a lot of it's the Broncos too, and Butch Berry and the lack of talent. A lot of it's Broncos too. But like Russ, his whole career, it's been well known that he makes his offensive lines look worse. Seattle's offensive line looks a heck of a lot better this year. Yes, that's in large part because of the investments they made on it. But getting rid of Russ and going to Geno, a guy who consistently gets the ball out on time and sees his receivers and goes through reads properly, is also a big factor. It's both. The Seahawks offensive line suddenly got better. Denver suddenly got worse. The problems that were plaguing Seattle's play caller in Seattle suddenly are plaguing Denver's play caller in Denver. And they also plagued the old play caller in Seattle before Waldron. Like, what's the common variable here?
I get it. I get where you're coming from. And I also agree. But I need to also play devil's advocate here a lot of the time here on Let's Talk Broncos. We're gonna give Broncos country a voice. The comments are awesome for this. I'm gonna try my best to relate them back at Zach in an argumentative way to get him going.
I love it. Hey, we are the new first take.
We did not discuss this as a relative option for the show. The host was not cued in on that whatsoever. I feel hoodwinked, bamboozled,
led astray.
This man is a bona fide scrub.
Small hands can't really rebound. Anyways, all right, go ahead.
You guys, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, obviously, but that just tells you how quickly Christmas is approaching. And I think you all need to buy me a present. Can I give you an idea of what I want?
Bree wants assignables.
I do want a signable. And I think everybody watching wants a signable. And we're here to tell you from Let's Talk Broncos a little bit about signables, a cool new way to display your fanhood in your office or home, possibly your fan cave, maybe above the mantle as you're running a fire during these cold Colorado winters. Signables are flat footballs with digitally printed signatures on them of your favorite players. That includes Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. They also have soccer, which I think is going on obviously right now with the World Cup. They're a great gift for your favorite football fan this holiday season, and you can collect all your favorite players or all of your favorite team by going to check them out at signables.com. I don't know. I think I'm expecting at least a couple in my stocking over at MHS.
Yes. If you are thankful tomorrow, like we're talking about Thanksgiving, if you are thankful for anything in your life, go buy somebody assignables. You see it on Zach's wall right there.
And
Stop being degenerate. love your family, buy them something. What's better than assignables? Like, it's just that simple. That's what I think. World Cup's around the corner. That's where, like, that's their bread and butter is the soccer. If you want to go get something to support your team, you can go do that as well. Like, Signables has multiple options. We're talking football and football. You know, they have. We're in multiple sports here with Signables.
They got them all. They got them all. Support Pulisic. I don't know if they have a Pulisic one, but they've definitely got some soccer players. Go find out who. It's an adventure.
They have Messi. I know they have Messi for sure.
Yeah, get Messi. Root him on. Root against Saudi Arabia if you want. I don't know. I just know he played Saudi Arabia. Become cultured. Frankie throws out a great point. I feel that's what's also great about signables. Not that bad. $29.99, and it takes up area in that stocking. Like, that's the great thing. If you want to get a great present, but you also want to cut corners, get a signables. It'll eat up half the stocking, and then you've just got half the stocking left to fill. And honestly, you don't even have to fill the other half, because they're going to look in their stocking. They're going to see they've got a Josh Allen signables, and they're going to go, "Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. I finally love you. You're my favorite."
Exactly.
I finally love you. You guys are ridiculous. I was just looking, I pulled them up. They had them over at Fanatics and Dick's Sporting Goods, but they have the entire Mexico's team. And then I saw they also have Patrick Mahomes. So now I'm frustrated. Christopher Hart said he was buying me tickets to When We Were Young festival. Thanks. I thought that was already over. I don't do festivals. They're too peoply. Let's go to Joey's question of the day.
Frankie hinted to it earlier. Thanksgiving edition. It's only right. It is only right. What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? And if you say turkey, you are wrong. Go.
Well, we were ranking them.
No, we're not ranking them. What's your favorite one? And I'm just pointing that out there. I mean, if you want to say turkey, go ahead. I'm just gonna let you know you were
sweet potatoes. And I really like them with like the brown sugar nut crackling topping, but I also love the OG marshmallows as long as they're like broiled.
Sweet potatoes is tough to top. Like I kind of like all of it. But that's such a cop out. I'm gonna go stuffing. I think if we're going the classics, if we're going outside the box, I'm gonna go with my mac and cheese. I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna make it for you too sometime. I strongly believe I make the best mac and cheese. I'm going to eat all of it at Thanksgiving. I'm very excited for it. I don't make it often, looking forward to it every year, and it's amazing. So mac and cheese.
So
the next time we go on vacation, you have to make some then, like right around the corner.
You have to.
Okay. Yes, our vacation next Westcliff trip, we've got it.
I will go with mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes is great just in general. I also have a take saying that Thanksgiving food, massively overrated. I think there's a reason we only eat this food once a year. I don't know why we celebrate with it. It's not good. I don't enjoy it at all. I mean, it's cool. Like, my mom's a really good cook, so I'm like, we have good stuff, but like, we don't, like, come on, guys. If it was really that good, we would be eating it more than once. We're eating this turkey and we're doing this whole process once. Why only once? If you love it so much,
a lot of work. Mashed potatoes good, gravy's good.
The turkey, the turkey's so overrated. It's unbelievable.
I don't give a shit about turkey.
It's literally seriously. I'm gonna say it one more time. This is like my fifth. Why do we only eat it once a year? We only eat it once a year because it's not that good. We eat everything else. Why?
I'm with
If
Frankie.
Somebody wants to make me like green bean casserole, and I know Frankie referenced it earlier, and they want to drop with the French onions on top, like, I would honestly be so happy. Like, I love green bean casserole and I love sweet potatoes, and I would eat those more often if it wasn't such a bitch to make. Like, I really don't like having to like slave over the stove for that stuff.
Listen,
stock down Joey.
I had no idea our chat was full of like turkey lovers. Like, I've never even heard of these people.
I don't like turkey.
You lost the co-host. Frankie says he's out of the draft.
Listen, once a year. Why not more? So an answer. No one can do it.
So Kip from Mile High Life said fried turkeys. Apparently, I think Popeyes does one.
No,
He said they
apparently
were
that's
really
the ticket.
good.
I've never done it, but
I
apparently
like it.
Popeyes is the ticket. You've got to reserve it like 2 months in advance or something crazy.
Joey acted like you can't make turkey mashed
So,
potatoes. all year
Frankie,
long.
you're throwing me an oop right now. This is D Wade to LeBron. I could, I just don't, and nobody does. That's the issue. We all could, nobody does. Tell
I
me
mean,
why.
mashed potatoes are good. Mashed potatoes are good year round. Gravy's good. Stuffing, it goes with the turkey. And I do kind of agree with you on that.
Now we're finding out Frankie actually celebrates with a Thanksgiving feast
Turkey, you're
once
not,
every quarter.
Frankie, you are not popping a turkey in the oven all the time. Like, I don't
Once
believe
after the
it.
draft, once right in like the middle of the summer, once right before football season starts. I've
This is
had green bean
ridiculous.
casserole at least 3 times this year, but in all caps.
I'm talking specifically
One of
turkey.
the
Like,
funniest comments outside of context. That's one of the funniest comments we've got.
all right.
Where can everybody find your stuff?
Yeah, everybody, go follow me at JR Drafts. Make sure you're reading my work at Mile High Sports. Frankie and I's draft show on offensive tackle. Offensive tackles come out tomorrow. I had no idea Frankie was such a turkey lover. It's honestly kind of confusing. But yeah, go out and watch that tomorrow at 6 p.m. right after you guys are all like disgusted by the turkey and everything like that. Make sure you're turning into the Let's Talk Broncos. Yeah, and then that's really all I have. Make sure you're following both of my awesome co-hosts, Bree Maces and Zach Steegers. Shout out to them. They're the best. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, Zach_Seegers on Twitter, Mile High Sports. Find all my articles over there. I've got 2 articles that came out today, an article that came out yesterday, just drowning in them. So go check all those out. And what else do I want to shout out really, really quick? Oh, I highlighted some podcast listeners in that one, so go check that out. And again, it's Thanksgiving. Want to once again say very thankful for all of our listeners and our audience and the community we've started to build. I see the same people showing up every show. And I mean, we talk about it off air. That's so meaningful to all of us to like be building this community with all and with you all. And it'd be impossible without you. It'd just be the 3 of us sitting in a room doing nothing. You guys keep the lights on. Thank you for enabling this wild dream and for coming along for the ride. We really enjoy it.
But to be fair to Zach's point, that made me a little teary-eyed. We'd still be sitting in the same room, hanging out, talking to each other. I'm just really glad that you guys get to see all of it because this is how hard we laugh all of the time, getting to enjoy each other's company. And I actually did get emotional through that. So thank you, Zach. I love you both very much. And I love being able to interact with everybody in this community because, yeah, it's one of the best things to exist. So thank you guys so much. Everyone's got their comments coming through. Continue to send them. You can find me on Twitter, BreeMaestis303. You can also listen to me Mondays with the Fan Cave, 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Time, and every single day here, Monday through Saturday, with the Let's Talk Broncos crew. Woo, that was a mouthful, and I feel so happy and love the festive attitudes that are going around. Coop says, "Have a good night, guys." Same to you, Coop. We'll talk to you all. Don't forget to watch tomorrow. You'll have Frankie and Joey with a special draft pod. You don't want to spend the entire time with your family. Steal away some minutes. Go outside, put your headphones in, and take a listen to them. We'll catch you tomorrow. Night, guys.
The pies?